Hello, and welcome to the Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Academy. This hour's session is Government and Corporate Certifications, how they can help your business gain a competitive advantage. This is a quick reminder, we will have Q&A at the end of the session. All attendees are free to enter questions into the platform at any time. At this time, I'll turn over the session to Ina Willemsens with Wisconsin Procurement Institute to lead our discussion.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome, everybody. I hope you've had a good week. Started the week off on Tuesday with our in-person 11 locations this week. And Michael, I think this is the second to last session virtually that we're going to be doing this week. I think we have a lunch and learn following this. So welcome, everybody. So let's get started. I'm going to ask each of you for just a quick 20-second introduction, your name, your organization, what you do in your organization. Then we'll get into the more discussive type things. Alex, let's start with you. I have you on mute.
How's that?
There you go. There you go.
All right. Good morning, good people. My name is Alex Izquierdo, and I am the Director for Supplier Diversity for the state of Wisconsin. And I'm glad to be
doing that about a year now?
I've been, yes, almost a year. And
you're still smiling. Okay. Amy, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Amy Hacker. I own White Buffalo Trucking. We started probably about 13 years ago.
And where are you located?
Out of Oneida, Wisconsin, just outside of Green Bay.
Welcome. Jason, glad you could join us.
Thanks, Ina. Hello, everyone. Jason Ray, pronouns are he, him, his. I'm the president and CEO for the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber of Commerce. I'm based in Milwaukee, but we've got staff spread across the state.
Welcome. Rosie, would you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rosie Arabiat. I'm a senior business analyst with the City of Milwaukee's Office of Equity Inclusion.
Welcome. Roslyn, I think everyone almost knows you, but introduce yourself none the same.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? My name is Roslyn Roberson. I work for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. I oversee the DB support services, and I'm going on 16 years on May 12th.
That's like a half a lifetime. Shane?
Hi, I'm Shane Mahaffey. I'm the lead business opportunity specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration here in Wisconsin. We're out of Milwaukee, but I cover the whole state.
And you had a big event on Wednesday. You had the administrator from the SBA joining us here in Milwaukee.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you just share a couple minutes on what that was about and how that went?
Actually, I was in the background of all that, so I wasn't even involved with all the hubbub. So,
I was going to give you.
I really can't. I was with security.
I saw on social media that she did go and visit a couple of our businesses, which was DeConte was one of them, and what was the other? It was a construction firm.
That I don't know. That I can't.
I think it was RL Construction. So we've had a great week with all sorts of events pertaining to small business. My name is Ina Willemsens. I'm the executive director of the Wisconsin Procurement Institute and have been doing that for, I think it's 27 years now. Who would have thought, right? Our focus and our purpose is to assist businesses in getting into the government markets. And one of those steps is certification. So we've had the pleasure of working with all of you over time on the government side. And also this time, Jason, we've added you to look at more of the corporate opportunities too that the government does not recognize at this time. So look forward to hearing more from you on the LGBTQ certification that is now available to businesses. So I'd like each of you to take a few minutes to talk about what it takes for a business to qualify, what your certifications are, what's important, what's not important. Alex, we'll start with you.
Wow, I'm honored. Thank you. So with us, we certify women business enterprises. We also certify minority business enterprises and also service disabled veteran business enterprises. To qualify, some of the requirements with us are you have to be 51% owned or operated by the controlled demographic or the demographic that you're looking to get certified with. You have to have a useful business function. That one always strikes me as like, what? But anyways, so you have to be 1 year of taxes we require for your MBE. The women certification, 3 years of taxes for that one, and 3 years of taxes for the service disabled veteran. We do have a fee for the women business enterprise certification and the service disabled veteran business certification. The one that is free, which is our most popular one, is the minority business enterprise. And that one, as long as you are if you're Native American, Black, Hispanic, Asian Indian, Asian Pacific, Alue, Eskimo, or Native Hawaiian, you qualify under that minority demographic. Some of the benefits, we have what I'd like to say, one of the larger directories for the state of Wisconsin. So you get your, when you become when you get certified with us, you get entered into that database. And here's an interesting fact about our database. There are 31 different states that make up that database. So there's that. And also the certification goes for 3 years. If you are an out-of-state business, we will gladly certify you in the minority business enterprise if you qualify, or if you have the requirements. And also with the women business enterprise, we will certify you. The only one where we are keeping it to our own is the service disabled veteran certification. And that you have to be here, you have to be from Wisconsin and headquartered in Wisconsin. I mentioned that there are 31 states that make up our directory. We have 741 MBEs currently certified. We also have 715 women business enterprises, and we have 55 service disabled veteran certifications. I'm going to give you the top 10 states that have a presence. Obviously, Wisconsin has a big presence in that directory. The state of Illinois, California, Minnesota, Missouri, New York, Ohio, Texas, Michigan, and Florida. As far as, another thing that I'd like to add, as far as there's this myth that the state only does business with large corporations, large businesses. That's not true. We work with all sorts from all industries, all sizes. Some of our top industries are construction, obviously, IT, professional services, manufacturing, healthcare. That's a big one. On this side of COVID, we're talking more and more about mental health. We're seeing an increase, a trend in personal health, mental health, and just holistic healthcare as a whole. And so those are just some of the different industries that make up our directory. And what else did I want to share? Yeah, that's it.
What are there any goals, Alex? Stated goals for these categories?
Oh my goodness, yes. I'm so sorry. That's the only reason.
Well, that's what I'm here for, is to bother, poke at you a little bit.
That's right. So the state has a very nice goal of spending 5% of its overall spend on minority businesses and 1% of its overall spend on service disabled veterans. And so if you are in the MBE or the DVB, there is that permissive 5% goal. And so there's that bid preference, and it doesn't guarantee you the contract, but it puts you in the running for it if you meet all. And here's the thing, the sun and the moon and the stars, everything has to be aligned just perfectly in order for you to land that. But here's the thing, those folks that do get it, it's a beautiful thing because it keeps coming. It keeps, it's one of those, it keeps giving because
It keeps
met the requirements for this job, and if you did it good, good gas travels, and I should say not good gas, good word. The good word travels, and so it opens up the door to other opportunities. So back to your question, yes, there is the goal of 5%, and I'm happy to report that for FY23, the state hit 6.1% of its 5% goal. So in total, it was about 303.5 billion that it spent, and 206 of that. Now, don't write this down. Don't pull out your calculator. It's roughly 6.1%. So 3.5 billion and 206 of that was spent towards our goal.
Do you
And
mean
so-
million or billion?
So 3.5 billion and 206 million.
Okay. Got it. And when is that report posted on your website, or it will be posted on your website?
I've accepted. I have forwarded it on up to the governor's office, and they just have to give it its blessing before we roll it out. So looking forward.
You'll notify us, right? You on
Absolutely.
your website. Sounds good.
Absolutely.
We look forward to reading that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Rosie, tell us about the city of Milwaukee.
Sure. So thank you for inviting me. The City of Milwaukee's Small Business Enterprise Program is comprised of 197 small businesses currently. We are a race and gender neutral program, and the way we determine eligibility is based on what we call disadvantaged business criteria. And this set of criteria is something all of our businesses need to meet to qualify for certification. First and foremost, you have to be considered economically disadvantaged. This could be anything from having difficulties building business capital, issues with financing, being denied loans, bidding on government contracts and consistently being denied or failing to secure those contracts despite competitive pricing. So all of these factors are what we would consider economically disadvantaged. That's not an all-inclusive list, but just some examples. We also require that the business is owned and operated by at least 51% of individuals who meet 3 of the 4 following disadvantage criteria. So we have a social disadvantage, employment disadvantage, education, and location. In the interest of time, if you want a more fleshed out definition of each of those criteria, it is available on our website at milwaukee.gov/certifications. We do review everyone's disadvantage criteria answers on a case-by-case basis, and there is an element of subjectivity when determining if you actually qualify under those criteria. And similar to Alex's program, we have a few basic requirements that everyone needs to meet. You need to have at least 1 year of tax returns to give us. You have to be in operations for a minimum of 1 year. You have to be considered a small business based on the SBA's industry size standards. And you have to be actively involved in the day-to-day operations. We don't allow absentee owners to participate in this program. So why get certified? Getting certified at the City of Milwaukee has quite a few benefits. Once you're certified, you'll be published on our SBE directory, which is frequently accessed by prime contractors, government entities, private businesses who are, seeking a diverse suppliers to fulfill contracts and do jobs for them. And this directory is a really excellent way to open networking opportunities for your small business. And then another aspect of the program that is extremely beneficial to small business enterprises is it's a great way to get your foot in the door with City of Milwaukee contracting. We have SBE participation requirements, and the requirement is that 25% of construction and 25% of goods and services and 18% of professional service contracts be awarded to small business enterprises. And it extends beyond just City of Milwaukee contracts. If there is a private developer who is receiving $1 million or more in city financial assistance, they are required to award 25% of construction contracts and 18% of professional service contracts to SBEs. there are a lot of different benefits to getting certified with us, and we're absolutely willing to work with you to make sure that you are able to meet the eligibility requirements and walk through each part of the process step by step to get you certified.
Thank you, Rosie. Could you repeat the website where someone could go to get more details on this?
Sure. So it is milwaukee.gov/certifications.
Plural, correct?
Plural, yes.
Okay. Thank you much. Rosalind, tell us about WSDAT and the DBE.
Okay, well, thank you for inviting me on. I really do appreciate this opportunity to present on the DBE program. And when we talk about becoming DBE certified, first I would like to say that this is a federal program. So there's a DBE a program in every state in the state of Wisconsin. So not in the state of Wisconsin, but in the United States, there is a DBE program. So it's really pretty much the same as what everyone else said, what Alex said, what Rosie said. You have to be at least 51% owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. So we look at Asian, Indian Americans, Asian Pacific Americans, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, and women, and even any individual deemed social and economically disadvantaged. So you have to prove your disadvantage. What are some of the eligibility criteria? They include we look at your average annual gross receipts for the business, which must be less than $30.72 million. This is effective May 9th. So we got a new rule coming down from the DBE, from the federal FHWA. A new rule came down where they changed it to 30.7 million. Applicants must prove their 51% ownership of the business. They must show operational and managerial control of their business, and they must also prove their personal net worth is less than $2.047 million. This is another change which goes into effect May 9th, 2024. They must also show technical competence in their work area, and the firm is independent of any other businesses. So there's specific criteria that our certification analyst looks at when you're trying to get DBE certified. So
Thank you, Rosalind. So the one big difference is that disadvantage under the WSDAT, the DBE program, is that it includes women, which is not necessarily true in other government entities.
It includes women, white women, black women, all women. So, but the main thing is you must show ownership, control, and expertise in your particular business.
And one thing that, as you're listening to everybody speaking now too, is note that each one of these certifications is unique to the entity that does the certification, right? So
Yes.
Alex's certification will not apply to Shane's. Rosalind's will not apply to Rosie's. Each organization, each government segment has its own
process,
criteria, their own certification, their own requirements. I mean, there's some similarity where, like you said, owned, controlled, and some of the other basics.
Yeah.
But as a small business, as you're looking at this, just because you get a DBE doesn't mean that Alex is going to care, right?
Right.
It has to be unique to what you're going after. Okay, Shane, tell us about the SBA.
Well, I got a whole lot. So we have.
Really do.
Yeah, and I will make it fast. We have a number of different certifications. One is now self-certified. Only one of them is self-certified. So we have 23% of all federal prime contracting dollars must go to small businesses. And currently in the state, there's 3,809. So all these programs I'm going to talk about, Rosie had mentioned it, the small business size standards. So with all businesses being small, they must be small in accordance with the North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS code that they're in. That can either be revenue-based or it can be employee-based. Must be for-profit, and most of their taxes go to the U.S. So they don't have to be in the U.S., but most of their taxes need to go to the U.S. I'm not going to get really into the weeds of a lot of these, but we're going to touch base really quick. So small business is a self-certification through SAM, which is System for Award Management.
And that's SAM.gov, correct?
That's at
sam.gov.
sam.gov. You will not receive a certification or a letter saying that you're a small business, but you are self-certifying that you are. So we'll move on from there. We have 8A, which is our business development program. There's 13% of prime contracting dollars into that now. Now, when I say that, that's 13%. 2 years ago, it was at 5%. And it's raised up to 13% for this fiscal year. And by next fiscal year, it'll be 15%. We have 26 located in our portfolio in Wisconsin, and then we have 54 overall that our office administers. In the 8A program, that is a certification program, and it is for socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. Our social disadvantage, you have to prove that social disadvantage. It doesn't matter who you are. Economic disadvantage, I'm going to run through that really quick because you're going to hear it in women-owned small business as well. So for economic disadvantage, your net worth must be less than $850,000. That's gone up a lot since I came in 9 years ago here, and it used to be 450. So that 850, we will take away the equity that you have in your primary residence. We'll take away any business equity you have. And when I say business equity, it's not what you have into the business, it's what's on your balance sheet. So that's very important to know. And then we'll also take away, anything in your IRA or 401k, we'll deduct that from your net worth. So you get that adjusted net worth of $850,000 or less. Along with that as well, you must have an average gross income over the last 3 years of less than $450,000, and then a total of all your assets at market value must be less than $6 million. So most people I know, just economically disadvantaged. So, but it goes across the whole United States. So all these certifications work throughout the whole United States. So we take into effect people who live in Washington, D.C. or out in California, where home prices and everything else is much higher. So that's why you see that high level. The 8A is a business development program. It is for 9 years and 9 years only. And you receive business development from myself through our resource partners such as WPI, SBDC, SCORE, etc. Getting into women-owned small business, it's a 5% goal, and currently we have 92 women-owned small businesses that are certified by the SBA. And for economically disadvantaged women-owned small business, we have 15 that are certified in the state. That's coming from the Dynamic Small Business Search this morning. Now, it's the same requirements for economically disadvantaged as well. This is for women, 51% own and control the business. When I say control, it's not just they have the 51% ownership. They must manage the day-to-day functions, the long-term decisions, the short-term decisions, have the biggest office, be able to hire and fire people, right? So it's funny when people will say, you know, I'll always hear somebody say, well, my wife owns 51% now, so we're a woman-owned small business. Can she fire you? Well, no. Right. Then she doesn't control the business. Okay. Right, and I'm going to assume that I'm going to be able to stop in and pop in surprise visits like I do with HubZone coming in the near future. So if I walk in and the own and control person supposedly is not there, or that office looks unlike Amy's and it's a little closet instead of Amy's nice big office, right? Probably not a small business, probably not a woman-owned small business. So the difference between women-owned or for the women-owned small businesses programs and everybody else, they must be in a certain NAICS code, right, in order to get prime contracts. Now the NAICS code is located. I can always answer people's questions later on. It's also on our website. One thing I want to point out, that if you want to do subcontracting, you can self-certify as a woman or an economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business. Self-certify to do subcontracting. To do prime contracting, you must be certified by the SBA. Moving on to the HubZone, it's a historically underutilized business zone, and that's at a 3% goal for, this is the whole federal government again, and we're currently at 44 certified HubZone firms here in Wisconsin. That's dropped a little bit. We try to increase it, make it a little bit bigger. What a HubZone is, like I said, a historically underutilized business zone. It's where the we're looking at what people bring in. Their I'm at a loss for words right now.
Personal
Yeah,
income,
income levels are lower, or the rates
unemployment.
of unemployment are lower. So believe it or not, I do know what I'm talking about. It's been smacked in the head too
You
many
do.
so you have that. Some of the requirements that we have on this, the two big ones we have is that your principal office is located within one of these hub zones. And how you determine where a hub zone is on the SBA.gov. You can find the hub zone map, punch in your address where that business is located. It'll tell you definitively yes or no if it's in a hub zone. On top of that, 35% of your employees must be located within a hub zone, not necessarily the same one. So for instance, Ina owns a computer company that does coding, right? And in 35% of her employees, she lives in a hub zone. That's where her business is located, right? And Amy lives up in Oneida, which is at a hub zone, and I live in a hub zone, and we're her employees. So she has 100% employees live within a hub zone. We don't live anywhere near each other, right? So that could still qualify you. And how you figure that out is you also look in the hub zone map to find out our home addresses. You can prove that with driver's license, etc. Okay, and that all of these programs, with the exception of the 8A, you can come in and be certified right off the bat, with the exception of 8A, where you must be in business for 2 years. Moving on.
Shane, for the
yes.
hub zone, the governor of Wisconsin recently got 5 additional hub zones in our state, did he not?
Three
Well,
this
and then
year,
2 the year before.
2 last year. Right. Yeah. So there are different types of hub zones. And then the new governor designated hub zone, we've gone out, we've marketed to the governor with Ina's help. The state has been able to bring in more hub zone areas. So now we have, in general, because those hub zone areas will move, because like I said, based on unemployment or the rates of salary. So yep, for the income levels are lower. They do change. All Indian areas, like reservations and such, are automatically hub zones, so those don't change. But like you have Milwaukee County is very fragmented. The whole county is not a hub zone, but it's very fragmented. So you could go a street over, or across the street is not a hub zone, but you are. And that fluctuates and changes. Just so you guys know that I'm showing you on the map that's in my head that it changes. So with those hub zones, we brought in Marinette was fully in last year, and then the same with Jackson, and then now this year we have Juneau, Langley, and Lincoln counties are in. Those are in for a year, and if they should be able to stay in, so they'll stay in for another year. If not, the state has been trying to keep the census tracts in. We have certain counties other than governor designated that are fully, the whole county are hub zones as well. That's all on the hub zone map. I can keep talking about all of these for hours, so I don't want to do that to you guys.
We know that. Okay, go, yeah.
The last one we have is service disabled veteran owned small business, and then for the VA, veteran owned small business. And that's a goal right now for 5% for the federal government, with the exception of the VA, that they have to primarily look, because of public law 109, they have to look at service disabled veteran owned small businesses, then veteran owned small businesses first before they can go anywhere else. Okay, now this is now a certified program with the SBA nationwide for all agencies. You can self-certify right now until December to be a subcontractor to a prime, right? But that's changing, where you're going to have to be certified for that as well. So along those lines, my guess is that women-owned small business will be the same thing sometime in the future, where everybody has to be certified to do prime contracting and subcontracting. So that's where I am, and we have 153 service disabled veteran-owned small businesses, and on top of that, another 25 just veteran-owned small businesses. So they're all veteran-owned small businesses. So that makes it 178 total.
I believe you guys are, the agencies are meeting all their goals except hub zone, correct?
Yes, and the thing, we've never been able to meet the HubZone goal. Ever since I've been in contracting for 20 plus years now, they've never been able to meet that goal. And it's been shy. The numbers are going up, but it's been shy. So SBA is trying to make it easier and more inclusive for more firms to get HubZone certified and stay HubZone certified.
Thank you, Shane. So now you just heard about some of the public certifications that we have. In the federal, state, or local governments, we currently do not have an LGBTQ certification, but in the corporate world, we do. So Jason, would you share some of the information on what's the process, what's the benefit? Take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ina, and thanks for having me. So, while I'm talking around the LGBT business enterprise certification, we really work as a certification in partnership with other groups like Disability In for disabled-owned businesses, WeBank as well. So everything I'm saying can be translated to other organizations. So whether you're LGBT or not, there's some other private sector certifications that are available. And the LGBT business enterprise certification has been around about 20 years. It really started in the private sector, and now nearly a large majority of the Fortune 500 companies are including this. I know here in Wisconsin, we've got several who reach out to us on a regular basis asking who are our certified businesses. We've also really seen it grow actually in the government sector. The California Public Utility Commission actually requires a 1.5% spend with LGBT business enterprises, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the state of New Jersey, and then cities across the country. And the one big benefit with this is that all of these governmental entities don't require you to recertify with them, that they have an MOU with the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce, which is the official certifying body for LGBT-owned businesses, that they'll recognize that certification. So that you don't have to go and redo the application process. So the National LGBT Chamber is the official certifying body. We in Wisconsin are their exclusive in-market supporter and provider. It's opened, similar to the other certifications, to those individuals that are 51% or more LGBT owned, operated, and managed. There's an online application process for individuals to start, where they're including uploading documentation, including articles of incorporation, financial documents, tax returns, their LGBT status qualifier document. Following the uploading of all the documents and the review by the National Certification Committee, there's a site visit that is done to confirm all of the details in that application and to prove ownership and to go through those steps. And then once that site visit form is complete, it is sent to the certification committee for final review. The certification lasts for 3 years. It is, if you are not a member of a local LGBT chamber, so if you're not, for example, in Wisconsin, a member of the Wisconsin Chamber, the fee to get certified is $899. But if you belong to the chamber, it is completely waived as a certification fee for you. So great opportunity that way. In the US, there are about 2,400 certified LGBT business enterprises right now, and that's really growing as we're hearing and seeing more and more corporate entities and governmental units talking about it. Events like this are a great way to get folks who don't even know. I mean, certification is just that one step in the door. And I know that here in Wisconsin, we've been really thankful to Governor Evers, who in his last 2 budgets has included language that would expand the state supplier diversity program to include LGBT BE recognition. Unfortunately, it was taken out in the Joint Finance Committee, but it's been something that the governor has tried to do. And getting LGBT BE certified opens up a number of opportunities. We, from the national side, they're sending out, I think this week, was 16 different RFPs that went out to certified businesses from corporations who are looking for products or services. We're also hosting regular convenings, matchmaker events, both nationally and statewide, as well, really to open up those procurement opportunities for LGBT-owned businesses. The other part I'll just add quickly at the end here is that one of the ways, in the private sector that they've been using the certifications is that groups like WeBank for women-owned businesses or Disability In have created expedited applications. So once you get one certified by one of the entities, the other entities will help expedite a certification. So if you qualify in multiple areas, it's great to get multiple certifications to help show that leverage and open up additional opportunities for you that way. But that's just a brief overview of the LGBT certification.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for bringing this to the table, and I think new information for many of us. So then now Amy's the last one here, and she's, you know, you're someone that White Buffalo has leveraged certifications, right, and has grown the business. Would you share a little bit about what certifications you have, why you decided to get certified, what benefits has it given you? Just share with us if you would.
So when I originally started White Buffalo Trucking, it was in 2013, and we were not certified, but we were working on the 41 mega project here in Green Bay. So we were already on WisDOT projects, and then with me being the 51% owner, it was ideal for me to move forward to get my DBE status. So I am currently NAWDBE, Native American Woman-Owned DBE, and then after that, I went on to get my MBE and my WBE, because once you got beyond the Wisconsin part of the Wisconsin DOT part, the municipalities were looking for the MBEs and the WBEs to work with them. Those were some of the certifications that they looked for to get minorities onto their job sites. So that is why I use those, which then opened up a plethora of like traffic, because now everybody in Wisconsin can see that I'm a woman-owned business, minority-owned, and DBE, because it put me on multiple different platforms for construction crews, you know, prime contractors to find us to do dump trucking work.
Do you have any federal certifications?
I do not at this moment. We currently stay basically just in Wisconsin, unless Rosalind knows something I don't.
No, I'm talking like the 8A certification or the woman-owned business, like the Shane certifications, we'll call
By no lack of effort on Shane's part.
them. He's smiling.
We've looked at the hub zone quite a few times. We've looked at the 8A, but it's just I'm not really sure where to go with those or how to. I don't know if all my guys fall into the hub zone area, because I kind of have trucks like all over at this time. And then when I lose employees and gain employees, it's all just trying to match them up for like hub zone issues. Because obviously I'm in a hub zone,
Yeah.
but then my guys don't all live within the hub zone areas. You know, some of them live in Appleton, some of them live in Seymour, but so it's just they fall just outside that area for me. So I haven't yet gotten into any of Shane's programs, but not by no lack of effort on Shane's part.
I'm sure Shane will keep pushing and trying, because that hub zone is we're just not needing that. What was the most difficult part when you started getting into the certifications? You mentioned you were already doing work with, you know, WisDOT, and then the certification came second. What was any challenges, or it was really easy kind of stuff?
Well, I'm a woman who owns dump trucks. So that was very hard to move beyond what was my actual role within the business. Did I have the bigger office? I had to prove that I could run my business without my husband before they would allow me to be even DBE certified. I did go get my CDL just so I could prove that if my husband was no longer in the picture, I could drive a truck and perform the work as needed. I had to prove my money trail on where I got the money from to start my business. Being that I was Native American woman, Oneida themselves already had programs in place where I had to be 51% owned to get small business loans through Oneida. So that was already put in place, but I had to prove that I could operate this business with dump trucks without a man, really, is what it came down to. So.
But you did it.
And I did it by the grace of God.
So you can't fire your husband. We just want to make that clear. If you want to, you can fire your husband.
Oh, I can. I don't know if you'll like.
And she says that with a smile on her face, right?
Yeah. I try to fire him every day, but I really just know he's not leaving my relationship unless he's in a pine box. So he's just there for legalities anyway.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go back to the certifiers. You work with a lot of businesses. All of you have been doing this for quite a while. Alex, let's start with you. What is the biggest challenge when you have someone that wants to get certified? What's their biggest obstacle? Is it getting financials? What is it? Oh, and we have a new guest. There's a black dog that just joined us.
You'd think for us, it's not only like getting your financials and just understanding what's being asked is like one of the bigger ones. We'll have, for example, we were up at the DBE summit in the Dells, and there was a female-owned business there, and Libby was with me, and Libby said, "Hey, where are you at with your certification? We're waiting for this." And so she thought that it had been done and that she was certified. And so, there was a misunderstanding between our program and the DFI, and a simple phone call fixed it. And within minutes, she was certified, and just, knowing where you stand at all times, and some of you know Marjorie Rucker from the Business Council. And one of her big sayings is, know the business of your business and know the business your business is in. Right. And so always be, and that's the thing right there that I would give, I would put the spotlight on that. Know your business, be able to speak to what's going on, be able to speak to everything. Right. And the thing is, if this is something that you're dabbling in when it comes to your finances and stuff, you can't dabble in this kind of stuff. Right. And so I would have to say that right there, understanding that, and also the type of certifications, the type of certification that you have, and what opportunities that's going to present you to. I got an email the other day from a business in Virginia. Well, why didn't you tell me that this opportunity existed? And when we looked at it, it was a Milwaukee airport opportunity, right? And so so that is handled by DBE and the Milwaukee Rosie's group, so I had to respond with, "Hey, thank you for reaching out. Just to clarify, we solely just focus on state opportunities for state jobs, and I gave her, please reach out to this person and connect with them and get yourself acquainted with their notification program." And so that would be the other one that we've noticed that, one certification is going to cover all, and that's not how it works. And for right now, there's not one unified system that works for every certification, right? Every certification program pretty much has their own notification platform. And so that would be number two, and so, yeah, those are the two big ones that we see.
Thank you, Alex. Rosie, what do you see as the biggest challenge that you see small businesses having in certifying with the city?
So the biggest challenge that I see on a day-to-day basis is poor record keeping. When you are applying for certification, we ask for a great deal of documents. We have the 3 years of federal tax returns, but we also ask for things like profit and loss sheets, your initial cash contribution when you started the business, and what we run into over and over again are businesses that just don't keep good records. The basis for being a good business owner is being meticulous with your record keeping, understanding that you need to keep your records for a minimum of 7 years, just in case you get audited by the IRS, but also because when you want to get certified by the city of Milwaukee or the county or any other certifying agency, they will probably ask for documents that you received 5-6 years ago, and it's a mad scramble to find those documents and reach out to different organizations to get them. And oftentimes they come back empty-handed because they just can't retrieve them. So I would say that's pretty much the biggest issue people run into when they are trying to get certified. And then another big one really is just understanding the criteria. Don't be afraid to reach out to the Office of Equity Inclusion. Don't be afraid to ask questions for clarification. I think oftentimes people are afraid to ask, and they miss out on becoming certified because it's a little bit daunting to talk to government officials for clarification. But that's what we're here for. If you have questions, ask them. Don't be afraid, and just take the initiative when applying for certification.
Good advice. Rosalind, what are the biggest challenges you see?
Well, Alec and Rosie said it all. It's the paperwork and just keeping track of your taxes. Everybody wants you to get your taxes done. You just want to put them over in the corner and somewhere. But you want to keep track of all your paperwork. You want to keep track of all your records. You want to have an office set up somewhere where you can go and put all your papers together and and get them submitted. So that's a big one. And I didn't mention this earlier that but every year for the DBEs, you have to get not recertified, but you have to prove your personal net worth and your gross receipts. So we call it an annual affidavit. And once a person gets certified, then we got to come back around on your anniversary date and let you know it's time for you to, pull those paperworks out and get your taxes resubmitted. And that becomes a challenge, because they want to work on their business. They want to keep doing that. Then they got to go back and pull those papers out. So it's just keeping track of your records. That's the biggest challenge. Once you get those records in, we our certification analyst John Franklin, we say it takes 3 months. We have to say it takes 90 days, but he can turn someone around if all their paperwork is in. That's required. We let them know. We got it on our brochure. What all documents are required. We got the websites where you can go to and download everything that you need. Even if you need assistance in helping you get stuff done, we can dispatch a consultant to help you with that, or someone within our department can help you. So it's just a matter of you taking the initiative and not procrastinate. So I think
Like we all do a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget, there's some reciprocity between the state of Wisconsin and the DBE certification. Is that correct?
Say that again.
There's some reciprocity. You were shaking your head, Alex.
With the
if
who?
someone's a DBE or an MBE, there's a reciprocity to the DBE program.
There is. I lost my unmute button. So
Oh, sorry.
it's called the substantially equivalent application. And so the state of Wisconsin has an arrangement with the DBE program that if you have the DBE certification, we will gladly work with you on getting your MBE certification. And so we have a number of folks from that program. And I see Amy shaking her head. I believe you took advantage of that program? Yes, you did. Awesome.
Right.
Thank you for believing in the state program. But yes, there is an arrangement and it's for 3 years. And so, that's another one of those caveats that many people don't know. Many businesses, they don't know, right? And so, yeah, there is an arrangement.
And that makes it much easier. So if you have one, it's just a little extra work and you have the other. And I'm going to say thank you, True Malolo, for putting that through my email. From our staff, True works on our staff with a lot of the certifications. So thank you for sharing that.
And I also
want to say quick too, it was so much easier once I got my DBE to move over into the MBE and WBE because all the paperwork was already in place.
They're similar, right?
Doesn't need as much as the DBE. So it was so
Michael,
much.
could you change the view back? Thank you. So there's similarities between all these certification, but there are differences. Like Rosalind, you were talking about, and Amy, you were talking about, you have to show that you could drive the truck or do whatever licensed thing that you do. So there is differences, but a lot of it is similar. Shane, what's the biggest complication you see?
So with all the above, right, we're going with all of that. And if everybody thinks, we started out at more of a city level, so local, then we got the state. Then you get into the federal certifications. Everybody else was asking for this much information. We asked for about this much information. And it gets very intrusive and people don't like it. So when you're coming into wanting to do federal work, the biggest thing I can say is be patient. We have a lot of different areas for each one of these certifications at the moment. So like Alex was saying, there wasn't just one place where you can go and apply for everything. SBA is in the process of changing that with a new program that's getting user testing pretty soon. We're starting it out with little things. So with that and being patient on the amount of time it may take on different levels, there's a lot of, usually what I see is there's a lot of back and forth between the applicant and the program office. Like, okay, well, we need this, or well, you didn't include it, or you did include it, but we need clarification. So there's a lot of back and forth to be prepared for that. Some certifications go quicker than others. Sometimes they don't. So it just depends with it. But just like everybody else said, make sure you have good records and you know what you're submitting as well. If somebody is asking for your operating agreement or your, let's say your profit and loss, do not attach your taxes for that. I've seen that happen. And here's the biggest thing for everybody to know. I do not look at certifications. I do not approve certifications. So please don't get upset at me if something comes back. It's not me. I'll try to help you the best that I can. So that's the biggest thing, is just pay attention to your paperwork and what you're submitting and be patient.
Thank you. Thank you, Shane. Jason, what do you see as the most challenging for small businesses?
Yeah, I think in addition to everything that's been said around the record keeping and having all those documents available, is that folks are afraid to ask sometimes when they don't know what it is. And there's a team, for us, we've got a full-time supplier diversity program manager at the chamber who's here to help get businesses certified. There's a national team that's available that folks just have to ask. I see so many get hung up on, I don't know what they mean by this document, so I'm just going to stop and put it away, and they don't come back to it because they're afraid to ask that question. I think the other one that I will say, I think the biggest hurdle and why we see folks not renewing their certification after 3 years is because they also expect it to be a magic wand that will get them a contract just by having the certification. And it's important for folks to remember that the certification helps open up a door. It doesn't guarantee business. You still have to prove yourself as a business owner. You still have to have that capability statement, be able to talk about what you do and be able to do that pitch that way. And I see that as the other big hurdle, is that folks think that by getting it, they've secured the golden ticket. And while it is a helpful tool, it's not the only tool there.
Well, it in essence decreases your pool of competitors, right? Instead of having 100,000, you might have 100 competitors. Absolutely. And that's a big difference in who you're competing with. So, certifications have a definite value. Amy, what did you see as the biggest obstacle you had when you went through, other than Shane? I mean, we'll just ignore that part of the conversation.
It was actually John Franklin.
Oh. Hopefully no one's watching and no one will be sharing that piece, but why was that, if I can ask?
Dots his I's and crosses his T's on making sure that when you're going for your DBE certification, that you're not just just the face of a company for someone else to run from behind the scenes. So that was definitely, I think, my biggest hurdle, was the fact that I was a woman going into a male dominant industry and saying, I can do this. This is what I can do. And I run this. This is my show. This is nobody else's but mine. And I think after getting my DBE certification, it was proving that White Buffalo as a DBE could show up on those projects and be sufficient and effective to their companies. Where, like Jason said, it's like they think it's a magic wand. As soon as you get that certification, they should be hired automatically.
Right.
It's not like that. You have to have the work ethic behind that certification for people to want to bring you back. And that was, so it's trying to find the right employees, the right trucks to put in place to work with people. Not everybody has the same personality. So trying to find people who can fit the personalities and work well together is a puzzle piece you put together as well. And, making sure that everybody works efficiently together. So that, I think, is some of my biggest hurdles.
In other words, this isn't easy. It isn't for everybody. but there's a tremendous opportunity here. And with that, we're just about done. I would ask you each to share your wisdom, 30 seconds worth of wisdom. Alex, give me 30 seconds of your wisdom.
Dedicate time to to your business, and give yourself some grace and some mercy, right? There's so much going on. Take a break, focus, recharge. But when you enter the certification landscape or the ecosystem, you got to put in some work, right? Arm yourself with the knowledge.
Good advice. Rosie, what's your advice?
So my advice is really just temper your expectations. Certification is a wonderful resource to get your foot in the door, but it's just the beginning. But it's a fantastic aid to expanding your business.
Thank you. Rosalind, what's your advice?
Educate, educate, educate yourself about the industry you're getting involved in, especially if you're getting involved in highway construction. Educate and network. That's the most important thing. If you want to get in a competitive advantage, you need to know the right people. You need to get involved in what the things that are going on. I'm promoting the annual event, DB Summit.
Boy, am I
Just attend.
surprised. Yeah.
And just make sure you're well informed about what's going on in the industry.
Homework. Do your homework.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shane, what's your advice? Your wisdom?
Know what your business does and does well, and that's what you want to do. Your business cannot do everything that the federal government needs. Do your market research. Utilize WPI to do that market research, to find opportunities, and find out how many are out there for your business before applying for some of these certifications. That's going to be your best bet.
Jason, what's your wisdom?
I would say just do it and get certified. I know we talked today a little about some of the hurdles or some of the paperwork things that are needed, but it's a phenomenal tool in your business, toolkit here with the certification. So give it a shot, try one of them, start somewhere, and just do it. But know you've got fantastic partners, those on the call and around the state who are here to help.
Thank you. Amy, what's your wisdom? You've been through this from the other side.
My words of wisdom is, you see these people on the screen, get to know them. They have conferences all the time. Go to them. The whole educate, 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 get to know the people who can help you move forward. Like say, these are only 6 of the hundreds of people that show up at this conference that are willing to help you, whether it's the DBE Summit, whether it's a WPI event. There's people, they're there to help you. Utilize those conferences to educate yourself on your business, to move forward, to meet and greet people that you wouldn't actually ever get a chance of meeting. And that is, that was our biggest thing, was always going to the conferences, because really I got in front of people I've never would have been able to get in front of ever, right down to the governor. So these are conferences you want to utilize and use to your advantage.
And when you go, you got to be ready, and you got to have, this is my wisdom. Grow your business solid, be ready, network a lot, network all you can, meet all the resources you can, go to any events you can. Marketplace is coming up, that's a big one come December. The DBE event, if you're into the road construction. I also look at national events where you would meet people that would, some of the larger primes or some of the larger agency representatives outside of Wisconsin that might have opportunities for you. It's very important that you start meeting and building your circle of business associates. So with that, we're at time. If anyone typed in a question, we'll answer that after the fact. With that, I want to thank you all for joining us on this panel. And Michael, I turn this back over to you.